Good afternoon. My name is Kerry Perrin. I'm with the Northern Brazoria County Chamber of Commerce. Today we are taking some time to find out what is on some of the ballots in Manville and Iowa Colony for Brazoria County Emergency Services District number 3. They have a proposition that we wanted to learn more about, so we've asked a couple of folks from that organization to come and educate us better about that proposition. So we want to just get right down to it, but first, go ahead and introduce yourselves so we know who you are, so that when we have more questions, we know who to talk to. So, Cindy, do you want to go first?
Hi, my name is Cindy Reeves. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for Brazoria County ESD 3, and we appreciate you having us here today and giving us the opportunity to share what we have on Prov A.
My name is Matt Glaves. I'm appointed from Commissioner Stacey Adams to the position of Commissioner for the ESD. Actually, ESD is kind of a mouthful, so I want to start off by telling you that the ESD is the Emergency Services District, which is fire and EMS for basically a 600 square mile area that includes, besides Manville and Iowa Colony, the ETJ around Alvin, Angleton, Danbury, Liverpool, Rocheron, and Demijohn. Those communities were responsible for funding the fire departments and the 4 EMSs. So there's 9 fire departments and 4 EMSs. That's what an ESD really is.
Excellent. So first thing we want to know is, why did the ESD, and again that stands for Emergency Services District, why did the ESD board make the decision to move forward with a sales tax election this year?
Actually, this is the 3rd time we've tried to get this on the ballot and to have it pass. It's about the growing population, the growth, about aging apparatuses, about a deficit in the budget. We're actually about $37 million on our 10-year plan that we're in a deficit of. So it's to raise funds to continue providing services to, again, the 9 fire departments, the 4 EMSs, and for us to be able to be fiscally sound in the future on our long-range plan.
So you've kind of alluded to it a little bit. Why does the district need to increase the revenue?
New stations are needed to address the growth. More importantly, our property tax rate does not cover the needs of the district. We're allowed to put up to the voters up to 10%. The district tax rate right now is 0.07495 per 100 on your household, which includes a debt rate of 0.03862 per 100. What that means, literally, if you look at your property tax, nobody wants to talk about it. This is not a property tax that we're talking about. But if you were to look at your property tax, there's the school district, there's the college, there's the county, there's road and bridge, and if you pay the property tax and you're in the ESD, the very bottom one, it's minute, the very one at the bottom is the ESD. And again, we've rolled it back. We're we're cognizant and trying to take care of the residents, and we've rolled it back to from 10 cents to 7.459. We feel like this is the easiest way to be cost effective to property owners. Nobody likes to see the property tax. This is not a property tax. This is a sales tax. What it means from this point forward is there are areas in the ESD. Manville has already taken the available property tax. The 8.25, Manville's already taken it. Iowa Colony's already taken it. They use it for a hotel motel tax. If areas were annexed in the future, we've agreed, the board, I'm one of 5, we've agreed to enter in negotiations. If you were to annex something in the next 5 years, we would split the sales tax with you for, if you thought you were going to bring it in, for the following 5 years. So 5 years after you annexed it in, we would split it. The actual money that the state has is capped at 8.25. So most of us are paying 8.25. Wherever you shop your groceries, wherever you go to for your goods, it's in a city that already has the 8.25. We're talking about the outlying areas And we're talking about an average over the whole ESD at 0.5 to 0.75. So half a cent to 3/4 of a cent is what we're trying to get on the sales tax. And those are actually for end users. So for the people on 288, going down the 288 corridor to Lake Jackson, we still have to supply emergency services to them, but if they stop and get gas and they happen to be in row sharing, okay, there's a portion of the sales tax that would come back to us through the state comptroller on a monthly basis. And that's what we're trying to capture. Also, homes that get Amazon, those are actually, there's a sales tax that's involved. It depends on what city you're in. Most of it's already taken, but we've done some surveys and we know that that's enough to make us solvent. And without this, we will not be.
So just to add to that, one of my favorite statistics that you've told me before is how many square miles of area does your ESD cover for fire protection and emergency services?
650 square miles.
650 square miles. So that's what we're talking about when we're doing the sales tax, is being able to cover that many miles that much better. And again, you guys do fire responses, you do emergency responses. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting?
We do EMSs, even for Alvin and Angleton, which have opted out of it. The city of Alvin, the city of Angleton don't participate with ESD, but we supplement them for the ETJ for all the areas outside of there. So we supplement Alvin and Angleton with help with their EMS and their fire departments to take care of the areas that are surrounding them. So the 650 miles, to be honest with you, my background's more on the fire side, and what I will tell you is we have about 120 boots on the ground of volunteers on the fire side. That's what facilitates your fire service in the northern end of Brazoria County, is volunteers. The EMSs are supplemented by us, and they have 4, Angleton, Danbury, Alvin, and the ESD EMS out of Manville that supplements all EMS service. They all use mutual aid. If they don't have somebody, they can get the neighboring departments, and actually the ESD is probably the #1 provider for mutual aid for Alvin, Danbury, Friendswood, Pearland. That's the first person they'll call to supplement their services.
Nice.
Take the next one.
Well, so let's get more specific. You brought up fire. How will this sales tax revenue impact the fire aspect of the ESD?
The increased revenue, again, for our 10-year plan, we're in arrears. We're in a deficit. So the increased revenue, what we've decided in the past is how to be proactive and try to plan for the future with the growth. We've been able to secure property at two different locations. The last one that we built was in Iowa Colony. We built a station there. That was $8.6 million. All the rolling stock, when the ESD was first formed, they bought 14 pieces in 2006, 14 pieces of fire apparatus. I shouldn't say rolling stock. Fire apparatus, which were engines, tankers, and pumpers that they split out across the whole ESD. It took me years to pay those down. Unfortunately, they've got a life cycle on them, and we still have some of the original equipment. After about 20 years, it becomes harder and harder to recertify those where they'll do what they need to do. So we've actually started supplementing. We buy equipment as it goes, as we can, to replace where the needs are. The problem is inflation doesn't blink an eye for the fire service. And what I will tell you, what you think and what you know, if it says fire on it, it's going to be about 5 times what a ladder from Home Depot would cost between a fire service ladder. A perfect example is the equipment. A pumper used to be able to get it for about $500 or $600. Right now, $1,000. Right now, a pumper costs between $750 and $1 million. If you needed an aerial apparatus, when they start building in areas and they start building over a 3-story building, we're going to have an aerial apparatus. Those are starting off at $1.5 1.5 to 1.75 to $2 million. And that's if you can get them. There's about a 4 to 5 year waiting period for those to be able to come available.
So then next, you guys also cover emergency services. So how will this sales tax revenue impact the emergency services provided by the district?
Just as everyone is talking this evening about the need to meet the challenges and the growth in the community, EMS has those same challenges. When you need an ambulance, you want one there and you want one there fast. So just as we need to place fire apparatus, we need to place additional emergency medical service providers. That requires ambulance. That requires all of the equipment that are in the ambulance. I don't know if many of you have seen, but this last year we implemented a new blood program. So we carry blood on our ambulances, which is truly a life-saving effort. But it costs. It costs to be able to have that available. And so as we grow, as we have new areas to serve, and just in keeping up with what we are, ambulances only have about a 7-year lifespan. They have to be replaced as well, and they increase by about 5% every year. So it is just as important that we have those funds available to service that industry as well.
I can't let it go by. She mentioned blood products. What I will tell you is the ESD is proud of what we do for the emergency services, and the ESD EMS in Manville they were one of the first ones to have the Stoker baskets, so our guys are not throwing out their backs. The whole ESD has those now. All EMS services have the power lifts. That helps on their personnel. Back to the blood program, they carry whole blood that they can administer, and they also carry plasma. They are the first ones in Brazoria County, and actually in this area. Pearland's coming on board, I believe. They just did come on board. Pearland just came on board. We were the first ones. We've gotten national recognition for that, being progressive. They also have, if you have a heart attack, they've got the Lucas machine. It's like a thumper. It actually does the compressions for you. Helps out for the staff. That is extremely, besides being emotionally draining, that is extremely physically challenging for anybody to continue CPR for any amount of time. So we've got those in our ambulances to mitigate that too. So we try to be progressive, but all that comes at a cost. Again, you think about ambulances, you think, well, that's just a van. It is not. Those are basic and advanced life support vehicles. They put a lot of miles on them. And to be honest with you, you can't touch one right now for less than about $150,000. Is that right?
I believe it's more about $350 actually. Once you
Okay.
get them outfitted, we're looking at about $350 in the budget to add an ambulance.
So there you go. It's close to $350,000 to do that. We just purchased 3 over the last 4, actually over the last 2 years. So we're ahead of the curve on the ambulances. What we're trying to do is we're trying to stay ahead of, again, be proactive in all of the areas that we serve.
So as this revenue comes in, what additional funding would you guys target for in your budgets going forward?
To be honest with you, I'd like to see, we've never turned down, we have tried to accommodate almost all of our needs that we can. To be honest with you, the bunker gear for the fire department, every year we order about 35 sets of gear and that's continual. After 15 years, bunker gear is no longer usable, even on the volunteer side. So we get them measured, and across the 9 entities, we get approximately 35 sets a year. They also get radios. They also have batteries replacement. We use all that continually. Along with the fire engines and the apparatuses, we also have I'm proud of the fact that we've implemented for the volunteers a retirement system. It'd be nice to be able to give them a $5 a month. It's when they turn 55 or older that they can draw a stipend, a small stipend. But I'm proud of the fact that for the volunteers, when they get older, that they get something back for all the time that they've given. The most important thing they can give us is their time, and they spend a myriad of time there. All the volunteers do. Did I answer that?
So how will this new sales tax percentage, how will it impact the residents as they buy and sell things here in the area?
Again, the sales tax across this state is capped at 8.25. If it's not been taken for, it can only be taken for a few things. A hotel motel tax by a municipality. It can be taken for a law enforcement, which is what Iowa Colony did. They secured everything. The county-wide right now, the reason why the county has a surplus of money, which they do, is because they took a half a cent off the county to begin with. So if we were at 6.25 is what the state mandates, and you take a half a cent off that from the county, that's what's left maximum. Again, across our whole ESD, that's not farmland, if there's a resident there, most of those places are talking about a half to 3/4 of a cent that might be available. We've had a survey done, and that's, again, that will necessitate our needs and keep us solvent. If we don't do that, then we are probably going to have to go back to an alternate source of funding. We have to have something.
Something I'd like to add to that is that the sales tax is a way to acquire pass-through tax. So all of those people that don't live in our community and shop in our community, but they come through and they have automobile accidents and medical emergencies and we have to service them, this is a way to recapture some of that money. If they stop and get gas on their way to the beach, if they stop and buy snacks, it's just a couple of pennies on the dollar that they'll be spending, or a half a cent. So it's a way to capture that funding without it all being on the residents. And I want to say again, and I'll say this probably 3 more times, this has nothing to do with property tax. This is strictly what you buy in the store, and most of you will never see a difference because you're already paying 8.25%. It's only in those outlying areas that have not been annexed that fund is available.
Thank you for that explanation. So then conversely, if we're not able to pass this proposition, how will that impact the residents?
The fire service is going to continue to do what they do. We will adapt and overcome, but what I will tell you is that it's going to have an effect. If you don't give them what they need with deficiencies, it will show up. With EMS, it will show up. It might be maybe not getting a new ambulance when we needed it. Maybe it'll slow down response times. Maybe there won't be as many people that are showing up. That's what we worry about. Again, the volunteer fire service is strong, but it's not as strong as it was 25 years ago. When I say we got 120 boots on the ground, that's everybody. And when we have a fire, if it's a big one, Alvin comes, Angleton comes, Danbury comes, we are going to survive, and the survival service of Texas and actually nationally is dependent on volunteers. And the only way that the volunteers are going to continue to propagate is by helping each other out through mutual aid. So same thing on the EMS side. There's only so many ambulances, there's only so many crews. And again, if we start aging out some of this equipment, we won't be able to replace it. So I think it's very, very important that you know that if it doesn't pass, there will be, we can't replace as we should. We can't be proactive like we have been in the past. We can't, with the 99 corridor coming in, with 288 expanding, the toll roads and everything else, we're trying to get ahead of the growth and try to make sure that we're good stewards of the taxpayers' money that we have. And we feel like that we've accomplished that in the past, but again, we're at a deficit. We have to have a little bit more funding to stay solvent. If we don't, it's gonna show up.
All right, my last question for you is just a simple one. What is anything else that you think the voters should know as they go to this ballot? And then also, along with that, if voters have more specific questions about this proposition, what is the best way to get a hold of you guys?
The best way for them to reach us is through our website. There's a phone number there. I'm available. I have cards. If any of you here would like one, please call us. I can answer. I can put you in touch with one of our commissioners. If you have an HOA group, if you have a community group or an event that has an interest, we would love to come out and talk to you. In our closing remarks, I want to say, as representatives of the district, we can't legally sit here and ask you to vote for this proposition. But what I can ask you for is to realize that the growth of the community and the things that are happening in our community, the kinds of growth dictate the need for a larger budget so that we can maintain the service we're providing and in some areas improve them. Without that, there will be changes. I'd also like to make it clear this evening that our Board of Commissioners has done everything to be a good neighbor to all of our municipalities. They have made the effort to reach out to all of our elected officials and offer those cost-sharing agreements, because there is concern about what's going to happen with area once the city annexes it, if we've already done that. We want to be good neighbors. We want to share those funds, and we want to make this beneficial so that the controlled growth is there for all of us, and we have all the services that we need to offer. The truth is that most of us don't think about fire and EMS until we need them, but I'm asking you today to spend a few minutes and think about that. I'm asking you to think about making sure that we can meet the needs of those departments, of those staff members, and of those volunteers. Let's make sure that they have what they need to be able to serve you and your family when you need them.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Cindy. Commissioner, do you have anything to add to what she said?
Yeah, I actually do. I think I've never been short of words. What I will tell you is that, again, this is not going to affect municipalities that have already grasped what's available, the sales tax, so it won't affect them. If they're worried about expansion, any of those municipalities, again, we've come to the table, we've reached out, we would be more than willing to share. We're not trying to put any roadblocks up for anybody. Again, this is about your emergency services. This is about fire and EMS for the whole of northern Brazoria County. Again, the areas that we affect are Demijohn, Angleton, Rosharon, Danbury, Liverpool, Alvin, County Road 143, which I slipped up before and didn't say, Manville, Iowa Colony. All these communities and the 4 EMSs are Alvin, Angleton, Danbury, and the ESD EMS in Manville. They've got the one in Manville, the ESD has the one in Manville, one in Iowa Colony, and one in Lakes of Savannah that we contract with, MUD 21 and 22. So this is a huge operation that we have. It's a business, but in reality, it's ran because we have a bunch of volunteers, and I would appreciate you to consider it. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys so much. Again, that's going to be Proposition A on your ballot if you're in Manville, Iowa Colony, and those surrounding areas. Early voting is April 22nd, and voting day, election day, is May 3rd. So make sure you're ready for that. Thank you again for taking the time to educate yourself on local elections and what's on the ballot. Talk to you soon.